In the
defensive front.
trenches, in the trenches is different.
Different. I didn't know what a 3 tech, a 5 tech.
Yeah.
The first thing I get into me, like, go up there and draw a 43 front. I'm on the
What?
board like I draw the defense. I draw cover 2. He's like, I ain't say draw no cover 2. I'm on the set of my podcast called The Locker Room.
Oh wow, nice,
Yeah.
nice, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, well, this is hey, this podcast. You can ask me questions and we can go back and forth. But mainly, my deal is about you delve into your life, your early life, your motivation for playing the game of football, kind of your football journey. What broke your breakthrough, and mainly my focus is based on leadership, the coaches that inspired you, what you're doing now, and so forth, and kind of flip it that way. And if you feel anything inspired to ask me from your perspective, we can do that because it's from Heisman to headset and everything in between that, man.
Okay.
So and we're gonna talk about our Titans
Yeah.
and get your perspective, on that. So, man. We'll just start it off like this, man. You're from Cali. Just talk about your life growing up there and how did it shape your mentality.
Oh yeah, coming from Pomona, California, in the area that I grew up in, it was you got gangs, you had the violence, the prostitution, just really, at that time as a kid, I didn't see it as being like a bad thing or because I didn't know any difference. I was kind of born into that. So like when I grew up, I looked at it as, these is guys that's around the neighborhood, but I knew from my parents telling me that this is not the way you're supposed to live. If we had it better, we wouldn't be living in a community like this. So that always rang with me, hearing my mom say like, if you can be out of this community. You don't have to be trapped in a box. So I always looked at it as like, this is opportunity for me to showcase my skills. And that was on the football field, obviously. So I knew that I had some way to change my outcome of, living in a community like I grew up in. But I don't take nothing away from that. I feel like it made me who I am today. I grew from it because I got to see things that most people probably didn't see. And I always tell people like, I have street smarts and I have book smarts because I've been through both. So I understand them. I know how to adapt to my surroundings and fit in very well anywhere I went. And that's what I say I take away from growing up in Pomona, California. It gave me that ability to be able to adapt to certain situations and not fold. And so I'm thankful, that I was obviously got to walk in those footsteps in Pomona, but also got to see the side of being able to go to a university as well.
Now, at what point was sports introduced in your life? Were you always into sports? Was it something um, that you always loved football, basketball, baseball? What was that inspiration like?
I always love sports. When you grow up in the projects and it's a lot of kids in a
Yeah,
cul-de-sac, where it was one way in, one way out.
yeah,
We always play football. We always play basketball. We always play baseball. But I think that football was calling my name because I was really good at it at a young age. I would say I started playing around 8 years old, and we used to play this game. Is tackle the man with the ball. We used to call it something else,
okay,
but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. Yeah. So tackle the man with the ball is where you probably had 30 kids on one side and there's one dude over there. You throw the ball and he got to get it and try to shake everybody and score a touchdown. And I was 8 years old playing with teenagers and some
yeah,
adults. And I can remember at an early age, getting that ball and I'm making 20-year-olds miss, 18-year-olds miss, stiff arming them.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm 8 years old doing this. And I
Yeah.
can remember those guys like, bro, you should be playing football. So I knew at that point, just hearing people in my neighborhood and guys that, were very respected where we were from telling me like, you're gonna be a hell of a football player. I knew I was destined for playing sports and the football field. Yeah.
You know what's amazing about that game, man, is that it builds your skill set. You find out exactly how tough you are. You find
Yes.
out, you can make guys miss. It builds a toughness about you. Because I played that game everywhere we went in Philadelphia. We played on the concrete, dog.
Yes. Yes.
We
Same.
played, we played.
Same.
It was that passionate, and we was
Yes.
catching bodies, man. It was that game of a free for all. We called it free for all back in the day. You played anywhere, anytime, and you'll find out who the toughest kids are. And then I say, man, it really was the foundation for my football playing career, my run style. To be physical.
Yes.
You find
Physical.
out real quick if you're a basketball player or a football player with that drill and bull in the ring.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You find out real quick, man.
It's funny to hear people because like even when I bring this up and it's like every football player whoever like made it to the next level or even college level be like,
Yeah.
bro, we played that game. And it's like everywhere. You can play it in. We used to go to the next block and play against the kids in the
Yes.
next block to
Yes.
see what
Yes.
was tougher. Like, yeah, like
Yes. Yes. You find out real quick. It's some of the best games I can remember. I talk about my professional life, college. Some of the best games, the best runs I ever had
yeah.
was right there on the concrete, man. Um, so your football journey was different. You went through a JUCO college. You went to Central Missouri, and how did you know, man? How did you know that, hey, I could play in the NFL, or did you know? Well, we'll talk. Just take me through a short stint of your football life and how you made it through.
Like I said earlier, I always had guys in the neighborhood that either like went to college and because they were good at what they did, but they never made it past college, and they would come back home and be like, who the next baller up,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, yo, Delanie Walker. So like I would these guys would come to my games and be like, oh, bruh, you can be it, like, but don't follow in my footsteps. Like, thank God, Lamont Love, rest in peace, he passed away, but he was a big mentor of mine in our neighborhood because he really kept me away from gangs and stuff. Like, yo, you don't need to do that. Like, you got something important. These dudes ain't got nothing to lose. Like, you do. And he used to be like, you take us to practice. When I didn't want to go to practice, he'd be like, take me to practice. So like hearing guys like that and them believing in me when I wasn't believing in myself at first, it meant something to me. I never showed it or said that at the time, but it meant something to me because they saw something in me I didn't see yet. So going in high school, I was beasting. I balled out. Started my freshman year. So I'm start off. The freshman year, I got kicked off the team. So I went back to playing Pop Warner, and obviously I went nuts in the Pop Warner league, and we went pretty far that year. But my freshman year, I didn't play high school football because they kicked me off the team because I was cocky. Like, I came in
Yeah.
playing Pop Warner. I was the star in Pop Warner, and I remember I wanted to play quarterback in high school, and they wouldn't let me because we had a guy named Odell Howard. And to this day, Odell was the better quarterback. I'm going to say that now. But Odell was the quarterback, and they was like, oh, we got a quarterback. You're not going to play quarterback. So if you don't want to play quarterback here, you don't have to play on this team. So I was like, I don't want to play on this team then. So I went back to Pop Warner, crushed it. Every high school was trying to get me at this time. Like Diamond Ranch, Gary was like, hey, you come to our high school, you can play quarterback here. We don't care. But someone was like, bro, you need to stay at Pomona High. Like, the competition is great. And I think you and Odell will get along great. And at this time, I didn't really like Odell, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to school and try to play wide receiver for Odell. And I would just remember our chemistry together was great. Me and him, we built something that was awesome as a sophomore team. We both got moved up at the same time on varsity, start playing for varsity, and then that's when I realized, like, okay, I may have something. Like, I'm a sophomore, played 3 games as JV, and then I was moved up to varsity, and now I'm starting. I realized, like, okay, let's take another step. Let's really dive deep into this, start lifting weights, get my studies. Me and Odell was kind of like hand in hand because I looked at it as you always got to roll with somebody who's on the same path as you because
Yeah.
they will make you be great, right?
Yeah.
When the guys that's not on the same path, they don't care that you doing great. They want you to be on the same level that they are on. So I knew Odell, being around him was going to put me on another level. So long story short, we ball out, me and him all the way up to our senior year. He gets a scholarship to Washington State. My grades wasn't as good as his because I still would dibble and dabble with the wrong crowd. But when I was around school, I would try to hang with the right people. So
Yep.
that led me to JUCO. Then going to JUCO, really, I didn't understand JUCO at the time. You know what I mean? Because I got there, I was a little upset. I didn't get a scholarship. I had to go to JUCO. I watched all my boys get scholarships, and I
Yeah.
didn't. So it was hard. It was hard on me for a little bit. But I had some really good coaches, man, at Mount Sac, and they would tell me like, "Look, if you as good as you say you are, this ain't the last stop. Like, you know what I mean? You have other avenues. If you as good as they say you are, and then you put in the work." So I really put in the work and was like, "Look, I really need to change my life if I want to do something with it." So JUCO, I went crazy for them 2 years. I went crazy. I was having scouts trying to tell me to go into the draft, be a just go free agency, go into the draft after my sophomore year in JUCO. But like I said, I had really good coaches. They was like, look, don't do that. Go to a university, play 2 more years, get better your craft, and you will get to the NFL. You will get there. So I listened to them. Went to Central Missouri State, D2.
Yep.
Uh, when I got to Central Missouri, we had Willie Frisk. That was one of the best coaches I probably could have ever have. I think he's the reason
Why?
why.
I'm curious why. I'm a coach now, and I'm trying to perfect my craft. And I know we know Theron H. He's been a huge influence in your life, and I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, what was it? Was it the connection piece? Was it relational? Did he challenge you? Did he coddle you? What was it? What was it that made him so great?
He challenged me. He
Yeah.
challenged me. Like I knew he cared about me, but he never showed it, right? Because he knew I could be a great athlete, which he knew I was great already, but he knew I could be
Yeah.
better. And only way he could do that was by challenging me. And it's not that he was mean to me. And I knew it wasn't just because he didn't like me. It was more of like, I got to make this guy work for every bit of it. I'm not never going to give him anything. So he challenged me to the tilt of, I want you to be great at school. I don't care about football. I need you to be great at school. That was the first challenge. And I thought this man was crazy. I'm like, why are you worrying about school, bro? I'm on ball. Like, y'all gonna make sure I get these grades. And he like, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need to go to class. You need to sit in the first 3 rows. If you're not in the first 3 rows, I'm gonna run you every Wednesday. So I ran every Wednesday because I didn't listen to, I'm not sitting in the first 3 rows. So he ran me every Wednesday for a whole year straight, challenged me, put games on my
Yep.
back. If we didn't win a game, he was like, it was because of Delanie that we didn't win the game because he didn't play the hardest we know he could play.
Yeah.
You know, he would do things like that. And at that time, I didn't understand it, right? I felt like he was against me and didn't want to see me succeed. But that was the opposite because I knew he wanted me to succeed because they went and hired Coach H just to coach me,
Oh man.
just to coach me.
Yes.
Because they said we didn't know if
Yeah.
we had someone who thought like you. So we gonna bring in a guy we know who can teach you and get you
Uh
on
huh.
that right track. And Coach H was that guy.
Yes.
Coach H, and I told you this before, Coach H was another part of the reason why I feel like I'm so successful because Coach H, when they hired him, he hunted me down for a
Yeah.
month because I didn't go into the football building for a whole month. And he hunt me down and was like, why haven't you been up there? And I was like,
Mm.
I don't want to be here no more. I want to transfer. He like, no, they hired me to be your coach and give me a shot. And I can
Mm.
remember that day giving Coach H a shot, calling me into the office, being him talking, chopping it up. Like, look, this is what it is. I'm gonna do my job. I just need you to do your job. They
Wow.
brought me here for you, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that you're successful on the football field. And it was true. I think it was because he lended his hand to me, right? He said,
Yeah.
"Come eat with me and my family."
Wow.
Every Thursday, I think it was every Thursday or Friday, I ate with him and his family. I sat at the table, at a dinner table with him, his wife at the time, and his two kids. And
Yeah.
we would have great discussions, eat,
Mm.
and they just treated me like I was one of them. And he wanted to
Yeah.
show me, like, we do care about you. I get where you come from, where it's just probably your family and that's it. You don't trust nobody, but you need to start trusting people because everyone here want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you fail. And I would just hear Coach H tell me that about like Willie. He'd be like, Willie want to see you succeed. I know he don't show you that, but he really do. Coach H, I got older, I realized the truth and everything that they were trying to do for me because I was a boy. I was a boy at the time, and they were trying to make me become a man to
Yeah.
understand what was the next level. And I couldn't act that way in the NFL. I wouldn't last long. So, they opened my eyes to a lot of things.
And that's phenomenal. That's a great story, man. I know Theron very well. Coached with him for 2 years, and he's tough. There. Hey, boy, I'll be in my office sometimes, man. Like, what? Oh, he's just talking to somebody about grades in a very
Yeah.
loud and
Yes.
passionate way. And I'm
Yes.
like, hey, but I encourage that because you earn the right to coach kids, man. So you go through your stint at Central Missouri, you get drafted by the 49ers, man. Life is good. You're in the business of the sport. You played, was there for 4 years, right? Before
7 year.
7 years at San Fran.
Hmm.
Wow, 7 years at San Francisco, and then boom, you a free agent, and then what were your options? And I'm just curious to know why did you choose the Tennessee Titans at the time, a rebuilding franchise at the time.
So, like you said, getting drafted to the San Francisco 49ers, and going there and getting my position changed from wide receiver to tight end, I didn't know what to expect.
Was it
that
humbling? Talk to me about it. I mean, that had to be like, man, what's the deal here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. When they did that, I was kind of scared because I was a late round draft pick. I was a fifth round draft pick. I was a big receiver, but I had ran a 4.4 at the combine, so I knew I can still play receiver. But my size, the height, and then how much I weighed and how big I was, I knew they was gonna see me at something else. So when I remember being there, we had Mike Martz. It's about maybe 17 days into training camp. I come in, I don't have I don't have a jersey. I'm like, God, I come in and I'm like, yo, where is my jersey at? Like, am I getting cut? And then we call them the Grand Reapers. I don't know what y'all used to call them, but
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
see one of the Green Reapers coming. I
Yeah.
see one of the Green Reapers come. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting cut. That's crazy. They like, hey, get your playbook, go up to Mike Mart's office. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm getting cut, bro. He like, I don't know. I don't. They don't never tell us. Like they always say that, but he like they don't tell us. So I go upstairs. Mike Mart's like, sit down. I'm like, yes, sir. He like, did you see you didn't have a jersey, right? I said, yeah, what's going on? He said, oh, we moving your position. I go, to what? He like, tight end. I said, tight end? I don't know how to play tight end. He said, well, you better learn. We're going to cut your ass. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Mike
Yeah,
Martz told me that.
I
I
can see
said,
that. I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, man. So as soon as I get in downstairs, I get my phone. I call my agent, Vince. I'm like, Vince, they just moved me to tight end, man. And then I told Mike Martz, I don't know how to play. He told me he going to cut me. You may have to start calling teams to see if anybody like looking at me that want me.
Right.
He's like, my agent though, man, my agent like this. We thick. He goes, I've been knowing you all this time. I've been knowing you. I never seen you fold to defeat. You gonna let that man tell you gonna be cut because you can't play a position? I know that ain't what I'm hearing. I said, man, I ain't never played for tight end, Vince. He said, well, go out there and show him you know how to play tight end. He said, well, you can learn that easily. And I was just sitting there thinking in my head, like, this fool crazy. I can't play tight end. But he knew, like, it's so, and sometimes you need that support. You need to have people who have more faith in you sometimes than you do
To go and
sometimes
see.
to
Yes,
to
yes.
push you.
Yes.
And he had a lot of faith in me. He told me, man, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna kill it. And long story short, 14 years later, I'm a tight end in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Like so, like
That's remarkable. That's
yeah,
remarkable. What
yeah.
I'm curious. What was the toughest part making the transition? Was it the blocking? Was it the physicality? How did you learn the nuances of the tight end position from a block from a inline? Because you, of course, we know you can catch, but there were other things that you had to do. How did you learn it at such a late stage in terms of your career?
Yeah, that transition was tough. And I'm going to say the hardest part was blocking and knowing defensive fronts. Being a
Woo.
receiver, we don't care about
You
no
in the
defensive front.
trenches. In the trenches is different.
Different. I didn't know what a three tech, a five tech. The
Yeah.
first thing I get in the meeting, like, go up there and draw a 43 front. I'm on the
What?
board like I draw the defense. I draw cover two. He's like, I ain't say draw no cover two.
He's like, nah, where's the three check the five?
Yeah.
Where's
He
the
like,
right backer?
yeah.
Who has the
He,
A gap, the C gap? Yeah,
he
yeah.
said, draw me, put a three tech right there. I'm over here on top of the tight end. He like, not right there. I'm like, he cussing
That's
me out. Pete Hainer cussing me out, dogging me. Oh, hell no. We gonna have to get rid of you. I'm like, oh my God. But luckily, I was drafted with Vernon Davis. I am lucky that I was
yeah,
drafted with Vernon Davis, and
yeah.
me and him hit it off. The first, I didn't even know Vernon, and when I met him, I just kind of like he shook my hand hella hard, and I was like, bro, don't ever do that. Like acting like I was gonna fight him, and he looked at me like, what? And I'm like, bro, I'm just joking with you. Like I'm delaying. And he's to this day he still tell like he thought he was gonna have to fight me over that. And for that pressure, me and him became cool. We were roommates, and he knew the position very well. Knew the position very so he would school me. He'd be like, bro, after I did that on the board, he was like, man, let me show you these fronts. Let me make it as easy as possible for you so you'll never have that happen again. And Vernon showed me a lot, man. I was a sponge. I was a sponge to Vernon. I soaked up every knowledge I can take for him for 3 years. I'm like, okay, after that third year, I knew the game. I knew the game. And luckily, like you said, I can catch and I can run. So that kept me on the special teams. That kept me on the offense to come in every once in a way and get like a reverse handoff or like
Yeah,
something that they can just give me the ball real quick and I can get a couple of yards.
yeah.
And that helped me stay on the team. But after that third year, after I learned everything I could learn from Vernon Davis, I was a tight end.
Bro, that's you know what I forgot that y'all played together. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, now that I'm a coach, I love tight ends, bro. 13 personnel, get more tight ends I can get that are positional pieces, the better for my offense. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, damn, you got two exceptional All Pro Hall of Fame type tight ends. One that was a receiver who helped you become a tight end. You come to the Tennessee Titans and do what you do. I mean that's phenomenal, man. So you leave San Fran. You had a great career there. Comes to the Tennessee Titans, and just walk me through that whole process. How did you choose Tennessee? What was appealing to you? Did you know about the history and so forth? I'm just curious. Just let's walk us through that.
Yeah, so I had a few teams, the Bucks, Seahawks, the Titans, and then the Steelers. And
Mm-hmm.
every team told me because I was a number
Steelers.
two. I was a number two. So I can't
Steelers.
sit back and say that what these dudes told me was disrespectful. It wasn't disrespectful. It was what they saw from the San Francisco 49ers. I was a number two, and I was a blocking tight end with the San Francisco 49ers. I was a blocking tight end. So when I went to these teams, they never really said, oh, you're going to be the guy. They like, you another piece. We need a good blocker, a lead blocker at fullback, that H-back position. That's when the H-back position, we need a motion guy and an H-back position. So every team is telling me this.
Yeah.
I accept the Titans. I get to the Titans and they go, we need you to be the guy. We want you to be the guy. We have a blocking tight end, Craig Stevens. We need a guy. We need a tight end to be the guy. We just had Jared Cook. and he left, and we need to replace his shoes ASAP. So once I heard that, like
You knew. You
I
knew.
didn't know nothing about the
Yeah,
Titans. I
you
didn't know nothing
knew.
about Nashville, nothing. I said,
Yeah.
oh, it's done. I called my agent. I'm like, it's Tennessee. He said, you sure you want to go to Tennessee? They not looking too good right now. They got Chris Johnson, they got Nate Washington and Kenny Britt. They got a few pieces, and they quarterback constantly get hurt. And Jake Locker, like he telling me
Yeah,
this,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and I'm like, he like, cause man, you got bigger markets like the Steelers. You can go in there and be that second guy, but get that starting position. See, that's how my agent thought. He like, yeah, you'll go in there, but you'll start after a while. I kind of didn't want to do that because I was doing that with San Francisco 49ers already. So I was like, yeah, I get it, the bigger market teams, but Vince, I need to start now. I need to be able to go to the team and they be like, you the man. They told me I don't have to compete for anything. That's literally what the Titans told me. They like, you going to be the starter. It's your job to give away. That's how they told me. Like, it's your job to give away. If you're not as good as we think you are, yes, you will not, we'll get rid of you. They didn't tell me like that, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I said, yo, it's done deal. I said, wait, no, that's what I did do. I said, let's try, see if the 49ers going to match what the Titans giving me. Because I really didn't want to leave the 49ers.
I
Because,
bet. I mean, for a lot of reasons. I get it.
yeah, for a lot of reasons. So,
I'm with you.
yeah, so I go, man, Vince, I like that deal, but I don't want to leave the 49ers. We Jim Harbaugh, we still had the whole roster. All those guys were still there, and I didn't want to leave. So Vince called them and was like, look, Delanie got, this much money on the table. He willing to take a little bit less too to stay with the 49ers, but he needs y'all to kind of match that. And they literally was like, look, we will never give him that. He's a number 2 special teams guy. So after my agent called me, like, he was like, Delanie, look, forget the 49ers. And I know it was Trent Baalke at the time because I talked to Jim Harbaugh after that conversation. He was like, yeah, I can't. Trent Baalke don't want to budge. So then he was like, if I was you, I would go sign with the Titans. Jim Harbaugh gave me that blessing too. So I'm like, let's do it. So we called the Titans and told them. And I remember getting up there. I remember getting there. I ain't know nothing about the Titans. Didn't know nothing about Nashville. And coming from San Francisco to Nashville at the time, yeah, it was a culture change. It don't look like it look now. It was just an eye opener. But you know what? I realized this was going to be the best thing for me because now I can focus on football. Football was my main focus when I moved to Tennessee. The city was vibrant, but it wasn't crazy. So I was able to really set in and say, football, that's all that matters to me. I got to be focused and I got to do what I said I was going to do when I got here. And I was thankful for the opportunity.
Now, what changed in terms of your mindset, your regiment? You focused on the game. I mean, because, like you said, Nashville. I was there. I was there at the very beginning when that first brick was laid. So I know the lifestyle of what it. All you have is the community, your teammates, and that's it. You locked in. But what changed for you in terms of that? Was it saying, hey, I need to get more serious? I know that I can be a potential Hall of Famer. I know I could be all pro. What was it that changed in your mindset that allowed you to focus on this?
What changed was I had to start off with the Super Bowl. So when I played in that Super Bowl game, I played the best game I probably ever played in my entire career. And it was at that Super Bowl. But I realized for that preparation, how focused I was for preparing for the Super Bowl, because I've never played in a game that big before. I really set in. So when I left there and I saw how well I played in the Super Bowl because of the focus and all the energy I put into being prepared for that game, that changed my mindset when I got to the Titans. I said, I need to do that for every game, not just the Super Bowl. That should be for every game.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it backwards. So then when I got here, I said, let me put all that energy that I put into one game into every game, and let's see how great I can be. And when I did that, every week it was like a ladder. I just kept climbing. Our team wasn't good. Don't get me wrong. We wasn't good the first few years, but I knew If I stack like this, other people was gonna see me stacking. Cause I lead by example. I don't like rah, 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 rah. I'm gonna lead by example. You see me stacking, them other guys gotta stack with me. Cause it's gonna look lopsided. If I'm here and y'all not, something ain't right. So we all need to get to this level. So I just was like, put everything into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be dead serious. I ain't here to make friends. I'm here to win games. So if I
Yeah.
come in here and I piss y'all off, so be
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
be it.
Talk. See, man, you
Yeah.
give me goosebumps, brother. Hey. Hey, you could have damn sure played with me, bro. I love that attitude, man. I mean, that's awesome. So, real quick, you were coached under Mike Vrabel too, right? You played for
Yep.
Mike as well, right?
Yep.
So you played some really great coaches. Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel. Please, what did you learn from each one? Tell me about their styles, and how did it again challenge you to be a better man than anything else?
That is actually a good question. And I'm gonna have to say they have similarity styles, right? They they put a lot on us because they expect a lot, right? These coaches expect a lot. You here for a reason. You're not here to look pretty. You're not here to be flashy. You're here to work. And Jim Harbaugh made us work. I mean, he made us work where I always tell this story why I like Jim Harbaugh because I wasn't the person who can talk and be like, we need to get rid of this dude. He's a cancer. He gonna hurt the team. I promise you, he gonna hurt the team. Like I couldn't do that in the San Francisco 49ers. But see, Jim Harbaugh, he was that guy. He came in. We had like 2-3 practices. He brought us up like, I don't like that. I don't like that. And then we like, what is he talking about? He said, man, we got a lot of snakes on this team.
Mm.
We all sitting there like, damn, what are you talking about? He like, y'all know how you get rid of snakes? Guys like, he like, you burn the grass. So we gonna burn the grass because there's snakes on this team. And after that, I was sitting there like, I like him. I like him because I couldn't say it. I couldn't
You
say
knew
it.
the snakes. You
I
knew
knew
the
the
snakes.
snakes. I knew the
You can't
snakes.
snitch on the snakes, though.
I
You
can't
can't like
snitch
he a
on the
snake.
snakes.
Hey, okay, but
But
he gonna expose the snakes.
he
Right, I like
exposed
that.
them. He exposed them, and every
Yeah.
week it was a person getting cut. So now Mike Vrabel, same way. See, Mike Vrabel didn't come in and do it like that. Mike Vrabel just come and say, "Y'all think y'all good, but y'all ain't good enough." First meeting, y'all think y'all good. Y'all ain't good. I'm gonna make sure y'all good, but I'm gonna get the people out of here that ain't helping this team. So
Wow.
like when he did that, I had a flashback. I'm like, we about to be good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cause
yeah,
we
yeah,
about to
yeah,
be
yeah,
good. Cause now I ain't gotta be the one putting cats on blast. We got another coach that's ready to step up and fight
yeah.
you and tell you ain't nothing. Get up out of here. Oh, I ain't gonna say the player name, but we had a player one time didn't show up to OTAs. Even though OTAs ain't mandatory, he'll tell you that, but it is mandatory. Like anytime people say it ain't mandatory,
It's
it's
mandatory.
mandatory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a guy comes, he don't come to OTAs, but come to training camp. He sits down. Vrabel goes, get up. He go, why? He go, because only people a part of this team can sit in the front row. You can stand up. Stands him up in front of the whole crowd. We all sitting there like, oh, snap. And he said, no, better yet, you can go outside and wait until the meeting over with.
Woo!
He was cut that day.
Oh
And
wow!
this was a first round draft pick.
So I can read between the lines on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
So
what? That, but you know what? It sets the tone for everything. That first impression, and that's why listen, I played with Mike in college, and I played against Mike, and we can just segue right today. We're here, the Titans. Okay. You know, I say I have to watch what I say because it hurts me to see the organization like this, where
yeah.
it's constantly going like this. There's no sustainability. You can have some off years, but it's been a lot, and I have tremendous respect for Amy and the front office. And I made a couple comments that were taken out of context about Amy Adams as set the organization back 10 years, and that was not it. That was not the the, the intent behind it. It was those types of decisions can set any organization back 10 years. Anybody, you know.
Yep.
So, my thing is that the Titans had a blueprint, that we established. Certainly, Mike picked that up and created his era, and that's what's needed. It's leadership. That leadership is everything. You can have play callers. You can have guys that are called up that were GAs and quality control guys, and they get promoted to being a head coach.
Head
But
coach.
it comes down to who's the leader, and
Yeah.
setting the tone. It's not
Yeah.
about X's and O's. It's about, hey, let's take this plan and bring it to life.
Yep.
Hold each other accountable to a high standard
Yep.
every day. You know what I
Every
mean?
day.
And the guys that's going to get up there and get the respect from a guy. So just give me your perspective of the state of the Titans. What's in your opinion? What's needed? What's next? How do they become relevant again in the NFL?
Man, that's a great question, and I know you had some great years with the Titans, and you also got to experience Bud Adams, right? You had an owner that was a founding father of the league we love so much. So he knew the game. He knew every ins and outs. He knew how to run it. He knew how to make things happen on the football field. Um, so when I came to the Titans, Bud he was here, but he wasn't here. If you get what I'm saying. So like I didn't I came to an organization that was the light was dim a little bit. It was already dim. I never got to see your side of it. And then we get Bud dies. We get Tommy. Tommy comes in. He's the owner for a couple of weeks, maybe even 2-3 months. I'm not really sure. I don't remember because Tommy didn't put a lot of effort into knowing the players, getting to know the players, nothing. He didn't care. And he steps down. Now we hear about Amy. She comes in. No one knows what to think about Amy. We don't know what's about to happen. We Bud Adams' daughter coming in here. What is she going to do? And like I read your statement, and I never took it as I think they took it out of context, right? When you
Yes, they
said all
did.
that, I'm like, yeah, they took that out of context and try to make a clip. And people always ask me about Amy. Like I get this all the time about her and what kind of owner she is. So when Amy came in, I remember having a meeting. We all had a meeting, and Amy said, "What do we need to do to make this a better team, better organization? What do I need to do to make you guys fight harder?
Mm.
What is it?" And honesty. I always been honest. So like people was like, "Don't say nothing, D," because they knew I was about to be like, "Look, straight up, you expect us to be better. We eating barbecue chicken every day. Someone's coming in here with a barbecue pit, barbecuing, and bringing the necessary salads, potatoes, and I'm like, we can't win with that. This is NFL. Like, we can't win with that. Nutrition is not up to par. We don't have a nutritionist. We ain't getting the food we need. And then it goes to the training room. We don't have cold tubs that we can fit all the players in. We got the ice, the metal ones you got to fill individually and get in. No, we need a 30-person cold tub. We need a swimming pool with a treadmill in it so we can do rehab after the pool is after workouts in the pool. We need a better training room. We need a bigger weight room. We need all of these things if you want us to be great. And you know what she did? She did it. Within 1 to 2 years, she did it. No questions asked. Not even us winning games. She just did it. And then she brought in the right people. She started bringing in coaches that we needed. I mean, I get it. We had Munchak first, Wizen Hunt, and then Mike Mularkey. Like, I know people hate on Mike Mularkey, but Mike Mularkey changed that organization around within the time he was there. He handed a good organization. He handed a good football team off to Vrabel. Vrabel made it great. You know what I mean? Vrabel made it great because the way he came in about it, he made us want to fight for this man. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this the dude. I'll go, man. Yeah, I'm going to battle for Vrabel because he gonna
Yeah.
go to battle for us. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, she did all those things. Yes, is she a football person? No. She football ops? No, that's not her. That's not her thing. She hired people to do that. And I try to tell people all the time. Yes, we're in a she do fire a lot of people. She fire coaches quick. Like she don't give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's where I feel like the up and down is big because we do we go through from coaches to coaches to coaches to office coordinators. We can't really get things going. And that's the hard part about the Titans organization. We do not stick with people long enough to see if they can be successful. And in my opinion, with the Callahan stuff, I thought it was time. You know, I think it was time for us to have a new change. Um, yeah, you know, it's this is a tough subject. You know, yeah, you know that for
It
me is
is,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
listen, man. It is a tough subject, but just like it's very near and dear to your heart. You spent some of your great years in Tennessee, your best years. You know what I'm saying? And we both are on the same page in terms of we want to see it better. Of
yeah,
course, we want to see the best for them. And I called Amy. I called her when it came. Listen, I'm trying to win games up in both BG. I'm in Ohio.
yeah,
I'm up here minding my own business.
yeah,
And I made listen. I'm up here off the cuff, just shooting it, and I'm looking like, oh no. I called her and said, listen, this ain't what it was. I respect you. I have nothing but the utmost respect for the organization. Want to see you guys do well. I'm here as a resource, whatever that may be. But that's not what was said. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But um, I just think you're right. It's a lot of turnover, and within turnover is a lack of stability.
yeah,
And then you see that turnover ratio at a high rate. Who are you going to go out and hire that can trust that? Like, listen, I need to get at least 3 to 4 or 5 to really turn this thing around because not everything is a quick fix. I mean, you look at Mike Vrabel, what he's done at New England right now. That team had a slew of cash on the side. They had some draft picks. They were kind of built for success again on the tail end, and that's why we're seeing that quick turnaround. Now, you look at the Titans. It's not a lot of assets. It's tough. Who's going to be picking the groceries? Who's going to go out and who are you going to answer to? So I just said, listen, in order for this to work and to be in coaching now and seeing it from this side, the GM, owner, and head coach all have to be on the same page. All, talking the same language. All
yeah.
have to understand what the coach is going to be. What is the ultimate vision for this? And a realistic timetable for what it's going to look like so it can be sustainable. It can be handed off down the line. You know what I mean? So they got the time now to really do their due diligence, think outside the box, look at different people and figure out what it is they're looking for to make it happen, man. You
It's a
know,
good point. It's a good point what you said with the GM and the head coach being on the same page. And the only reason why I was outside looking in, obviously, but when we had Vrabel, and I kind of realized who was starting to make those, who was making those, picking those groceries, right?
yep.
We were starting to see who was really picking those, because even though Vrabel was there, John was picking those groceries,
And you got to cook the meal.
and he had to
Yeah.
deal with what he had, right? And that's what people don't understand was Vrabel. He was left a bad hand. He was left a bad hand, but the first year he made that bad hand look good. When nobody said nothing when he was going
So
100 different
what you
players.
said is he got ramen, right? And he got some chicken, chopped it up, got the sauces, we got the ramen noodles and made a gourmet meal out of the
Made
ramen.
a gourmet, yeah, out of ramen. Like
Right.
people don't understand that. They don't understand. See, because they believe, oh, he picked those players too. I'm starting to see from me looking in.
Right.
This is me. I ain't getting that the GM may have a little bit more pull on who they want to bring in, who gonna be on this team. Because the only reason why I say that is the AJ trade, right? The AJ trade showed me that Vrabel didn't have no say over that. Because they showed the green room moments after that trade went, and Vrabel was pissed. He got up, he walked off. He couldn't believe it that we gave away AJ. He knew losing AJ was going to damper a little bit with our system. It's going to hurt our system a little bit. And Vrabel still made a gourmet ramen out of top ramen, right? That year,
Right.
he,
Right.
100 different players.
Yeah.
That means our draft picks wasn't good enough
Yeah.
to play that year. If you got to go and get 100 different players off the street just to play, that shows me what kind of hand he has. So that's why I say, even like you said the truth, other coaches coming in here, they gonna be like, well, how much power do I have?
Right.
Am I the one picking the players, or is these two other guys picking the players? Because I need to know that.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting ordeal for them. But I think they'll figure it out. I do believe in the gentlemen that are running the organization. I think they have no choice. They got a
I
stadium
mean,
opened up in 27. So it's
yeah.
yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity for all parties. But hey, man, a couple more things, and I'll let you go. Talk to me about you make the pivot. Okay, football career is done. Um, walk me through your transition. How did you feel? How did it? Because most guys deal with it differently. I see you doing amazing things. You got your foundation. You got your podcast. You're doing things with bar stools, doing everything. So just from an emotional side, because this whole thing is about just being vulnerable and just sharing with the audience of how you made it through adversities and how did faith play a whole role in your transition and trying to find your purpose in your next phase of your life. So walk me through the transition after you decided you were done playing ball.
Well, my transition, it happened. I didn't want it to happen, but it happened because I dislocated my ankle in 2018, and then I came back 2019, played five games, and I just my leg couldn't take it anymore. I kept getting bone spurs. They had to keep shaving them down, and and then that was the point of where I had to have that talk, with the fam, like, should I keep playing? This may cost me my leg later on in life where I probably can't walk, so it happened off of injury. I didn't want that transition to happen, but it happened. But when it happened, I had to embrace it, right? I'm like, okay, what's the next step? Like, I made all this money, but we spend a lot of money. You got to start making cuts. It don't just happen right then and there. You got to, okay, I don't need that no more. I don't need this no more. You got to start
Yep,
doing that.
yep.
But I'm like, I can't sit at home all day neither. You know what I'm saying? I'm 38, 39 years old. I need to find another career. And I can remember, what the NFL does really well now is they reach out to guys when they retire with the legend community, and they have a welcoming.
Nice.
And they'll bring guys in and your family, and they'll go over all the benefits and whatever else you need. If you just want to talk to guys, they're there for that. Any crisis. So I went to one of these welcomings, and it's a safe space, you know what I'm saying? It was a safe space. It was other athletes just like me in my shoes, been there, done that, and now they transitioning. And I can remember sitting in that room, and we had a few doctors in there, a few execs from the NFL, giving us our benefits, but they really just wanted us to open up and be real. And people wasn't talking, as much. So I said, you know what? I talk a lot. Let me start off, because she was just asking me, like, how do y'all feel when y'all play football? And I always told people, like, I'm not me when I play football. Like, I'm a nice person outside of football, but when I play football, I turn into something else. And I said, when I play, I'm a gorilla. And she said, what do you mean by that? I said, I turn into a silverback gorilla because I got to go out there and not care about if I hurt this person, if I do this, something dirty. It's because I'm want to win the game, and I'm doing it for my brothers in the same uniform. So I gotta come that mindset to go, not apologize and not feel sorry until this game is over with. And the only way I can do that is when I become the silverback that's on my back. Because I actually have a silverback gorilla on my back, and I said that's who I am. That's my
Love
alter
it.
ego,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
how I play. And once I said that, every player's like, bro, what? I'm the same way. I turn into this dude. I'm this person. I'm this person. And then White starts speaking like, that's so true. I can't even talk to my husband after a game because I said after a game, it takes me a couple of hours to come down. I'm still in that mode until I come down, and I don't talk. I can't eat because I really believe that's who I am. And then everyone starts saying this. Everybody start having the same scenario. And what I realize is we all feel the same way, somehow. We all have that same feeling. It's just we're scared to say it because we like, oh, I don't want to be the weird person. I don't want them to think I'm crazy. But deep down inside, we all feel it. We all experienced it. We all went through this game the same way, and we all had to do things we had to do to get on the field. Like, it's just part of it. And after they heard me speak and got the crowd speaking and talking, at the end, they offered me a job. They literally was like, look, we done did this for multiple years and we have never seen a room so impacted before. We never heard wife speak. They said, you caused that just by conversation. So it's like, we want to hire you. We think you will be perfect for the Legends community. We think this is something you should do. And I thought about it at first. I just like, oh man, I don't know if this is for me, just going out speaking and telling people my story. Like, I had to get used to that. And I remember sitting, talking to my agent. He said, man, this is a great opportunity. My
Yeah.
publicist, this is a great opportunity to be a part of football. You can make change. And that's what the league needs, change, to better for the Legends community. The players who's out there who's struggling, your story, and you can relate to these people, that'll give them a path to speak. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I've been working with the Legends community for 4 years now.
Nice, man.
Um, Still has
Nice.
still have my foundation, Delanie Walker Gives Back, where I try to impact 25,000 inner city kids every year.
Wow.
Um, yeah, then now I'm on a pod, the locker room, where we talk
Yeah.
sports and betting and stuff like that. And man, I'm privileged. I'm privileged to have a platform and
Yeah.
to still be able to to do the things I'm doing.
Delaney, man, that's wonderful to hear, man, because for so many years, that resource wasn't completely available when I retired, and I struggled. I struggled. I struggled with that. You're talking about that persona. Yours was a silverback gorilla. I didn't have a persona. I just there's a switch that flipped. I'm laid back. I'm cool and this and that, but you put that helmet on between them white lines, it's a different animal, man, and it's like I'm willing to die. It's a
Yep.
legacy that I live on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the whole same thing holds true as a head coach. But that part, like, to hear you giving back and finding that platform, man, you don't know how many lives you're going to save and impact because of that story. Because for athletes, for us, being vulnerable and being honest with your feelings and saving face is something that we struggle with, and I struggle with.
Yep.
And it's so good to hear that. And it took me a while, like through counseling, and I got into acting, and that showed me how to be vulnerable, to tell my story, and to release a lot of the fear, the doubt, all that emotion that I packed in for so many years, or during that time period, to release it through an artistic way. And it saved my life. The arts truly saved my life, and it prepared me for everything that I'm doing now, man. So kudos to you on that, man. All right, so I'm gonna finish up with the 5 H's, man. Something that you talk about connection with team. This is what I do with my team, and it's I found it to be a very powerful exercise. It allows our players to open up, and I try to create an environment where my players can be vulnerable, where they can heal, where because these young kids are going through so much trauma that we don't know about. And how
Hmm.
can I coach them hard if I don't know who he is, if I don't know
Yep.
what he's going through? Kids are eating out of garbage cans, man, or been molested, or seen something horrific. and they can hold it in, and they don't know how to, they don't have emotional intelligence. So how can I tell them to be disciplined if I don't know what they've been through? You
True.
know, how to control those emotions, man. So it's the five H's. It's your hero, um, hardship, highlight, hope for, and something hilarious. All right. So who's your hero?
My hero is not an athlete. It's someone dear to me, and that's my mother. And I say that my mom, even though like she had a boyfriend here and there, my mom was the man and the woman, right? She taught us how to be man. She taught us how to work hard. She taught us never to give up and never let anybody tell you you're gonna be something you're not. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, cause I watched her work two jobs, work her butt off every day. I didn't see my mom when we went to sleep, and I didn't see her when we woke up because she was dedicated and working and making sure me and my bro had the Jordans that we wanted to go to school, the clothes we wanted for the first day of school. She did that for us when she didn't have to. She worked that hard for me and my bro because she wanted to show us what hard work looked like, but what love was. So, my mom was my hero.
Nice. Hardship.
Hardship, meaning like something that
That you
was,
adversity. You know, something in
yeah,
childhood or something in the league or injury or what was a
yeah,
hardship?
adversity. I would have to say be, and I put myself in that situation, and that was the first time I saw myself probably about to go to jail. You know, how was I going to overcome something like this? And thank God the judge saw something in me and gave me a second chance and told me never to be in this, don't ever show up in his courtroom again, or that he'd make sure I'll go to prison. So I'm thankful for having a judge like that, but I learned my lesson from doing activities that I was doing at a young age, especially in high school.
Wow. You know what, man? Before I go to the next one, I'm seeing a theme in your life. It's always been somebody that saw something in you that from the times you play ball, like, hey, you need to be a football player. Hey, you need to be a wide receiver. And then, hey, you need to be a tight end. And hey, you stood out and you talked about being vulnerable. You used the voice. Hey, you need to work for, the NFL legacy program. It, God has His way of putting you in. That's the common theme I'm just seeing in your life, man. That is remarkable, man. You
And
know.
I tell people, like people are like, man, they ain't kind people. It is kind people. It is kind people, and it's people who care about you that sometimes you don't even know they care about you. Like, of course, like my boy Lamar. Obviously, he saw something like, yeah, you can make it to the league, but he wanted me to be there. He wanted me to be great because he didn't do that with everybody. Some people he pushed towards game banging. Some people he pushed towards school, and then the judge, he didn't know me for anything. All he knew was what he saw on that my criminal record.
Mm.
But when me and my mom stood up to talk and how passionate my mom was about me, and then me talking about football and a couple of coaches come in and say he saw that. He saw that I was a good kid that was going down the wrong road, and he fixed that. He's just like, look, I'm giving you an opportunity. Don't lose it. Don't mess this opportunity up. And
Right.
every time I got an opportunity, I took advantage of it. But I may have spun back and did something dumb, but I always took advantage of that opportunity right then and there. I never swindled an opportunity. Never.
Awesome, man. All right, a highlight. What's a highlight?
Highlight of my life, a highlight for me will be and this is crazy because I wasn't a star player yet, and it was against the Detroit Lions. I played for the San Francisco 49ers, and this was to win the game with
Oh,
7 seconds left on the clock. And I can remember them going 12 personnel. I'm like, I'm going in the game where we in like crucial moments. And I remember Jim Harbaugh like, yo, we gonna call that play we've been working on. I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared. And
Yeah.
I remember them calling it. I ran the slant. It was like pick slant. I caught it, but he got me almost on the 1 yard line, and I dove over to get that to the touchdown, scored that touchdown, beat the Lions. They was 5-0. They were 6-0. We're 4-1.
Uh,
I mean 5-1, and beat them that day. And crowd go nuts in Detroit, and I was the one to catch the ball to win the game. That was my biggest moment in NFL. Biggest
nice.
moment because they had a lot of faith in me, and to this I can't believe that they called that play.
Wow. Wow. I can only imagine, bro. You
Yeah.
hope for moments like that, but you like, damn, do I really want to be in that
Yeah.
moment? Oh shit.
I hope for it, but when they call you, like, oh no, I don't want to be the
Oh,
reason we
I don't want to
lose.
lose. Right, right. You want to be that guy. What do you hope for?
um, I actually hope to just live a long, nice life with and be able to grow up with my kids, man. Being around the league nowadays, you're seeing a lot of players die, pass away at a young age. We just had one uh, my age, 41 years old. So like I look at health and I'm hopeful for my health and I'm able to play with my kids and see my grandkids and just live a wonderful life, man. And just pretty much pass away on my time, like
All
I really I that's what I hope for. I'm really hopeful that I can grow up and see my grandkids grow up
yeah,
and if longer than that, my great grandkids, like I'm hoping.
yeah. That's a wonderful thing, man. That age and health is everything. As you get
Yeah.
older, you're like, the cars and all that lifestyle doesn't mean much, man.
Don't
It's
mean much.
health and relationships, man.
Yeah.
No question. And the final one, man. What do you find hilarious? What's something hilarious?
What's hilarious to
You
me?
got the locker room. You always Taylor Lewan and them boys. I know you got something hilarious.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff that's hilarious. Man, I honestly I had a son. He's about to be 1 years old, and playing football, you don't get to cherish the moments all the time, right? Because we worked, and then we'll come home and we're kind of tired, or the baby be put to sleep. But I actually get to wake up every day with my son, spend as much time with him, and the things he does or say, like he barely starting to talk, is hilarious. The face expression,
Mm-hmm.
because kids these days, oh my God, they are so different than where we were. Even like my daughters and my oldest son, they wasn't like this. I don't know why kids these days are just so hilarious. Just the things he do, man. I wake up every day and I just have a smile on my face when I see him smile or laugh or scream out loud or do a cartwheel off the couch.
How old is he?
He about to be 1 years old.
Oh man. Oh man. This is your first one, right?
Oh no, this is my fourth.
Your fourth one. Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
when I was playing, I had my kids when I was playing, and it was like, I come home and I see them and do all that. But doing
It's different.
football, it's like it's tough. You know how it is with the fam and football.
That's it, man. Well, hey, brother. We could talk all day. Uh, I love talking to you, bro. This was phenomenal, man. If there's anything I ever can do, I would love to come on your podcast one day. If I'm ever asked, I would love to come on, man. Chop it up with you, shoot
Yeah.
ball, talk life. And you talk about sports betting, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that though.
I can't get,
Yeah,
I can't, that
yeah.
part.
You can't. Well, we can have you.
Underdogs and overs and all that.
We can
Yeah,
have you on
yeah,
the bus though. We can put you on the bus. So I'm gonna just let's see if I can flip. Oh, yeah. So I'll put you on the bus. That go the bus right
yo, that's
there.
what's up.
Yeah,
That's
so
what's
we
up.
instead
That's
of
what's
putting you
up.
on this show, we'll put you on the bus because
Yes,
they would love to have you on the bus. I know you can't gamble or talk about gambling during coaching, so
yes,
we won't even
yes.
dare.
Yeah, well, I'd love to come on, man. Just let me know a time, date. I'll come on, man. Chop it up, man, and appreciate you, man. But hey, nothing but love, man. Thanks for talking to my team last year with Tennessee State 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
You've always been supportive of me, man. Same for you, Delanie. Nothing but much respect, man. Nothing but love and respect for you, man. All right. I
Same here.
appreciate
Thank
you,
you
brother.
for and thank you.
All right, brother. Be easy.
All right.